kind of wrapping this episode up, I think, Eric, I think that we've talked a lot about masculinity and kind of what that means, but I think it would be a good treat for our listeners if we just said one maybe kind thing about the other one. Obviously, we've been friends for a long time.
And actually, I'm sorry, before we do that, I want to end with that, but I have to ask the question. So what have we concluded about the quality of masculinity? Is it obviously it varies over space and time, but is it generally a positive thing, or is it generally a negative thing, or is it almost like an anti-hero quality?
I think it just is what it is. I think there are a lot of people that want it to be a certain thing. I think there are people that want there to be man cards and they want them to be burgers on fucking aircraft carriers for some reason. I think there are people that want men to be heroes, right? But I think in, when we look at it in either of our theological or lenses, we would say, well, no, men are not inherently, men can be wicked. Men can be as wicked as animals. Right? Like they can be, and more so, unfortunately. And I think that we have to dissuade the idea that men have to. Maybe you're just a man when you know you are. Maybe you're a man when you're like, here I am, and this is the moment.
So are we saying this is almost like the emotional and spiritual equivalent of biological development, where it's like, you're biologically fully grown at a specific, I mean, it varies from person to person, obviously, but at a specific point in your life, your body is just fully developed. And are we saying it's like that, where for every person, it can be at a different point in their life, but there's a point at which you just, you have the qualities of masculinity, and it's neither good nor bad, it just is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, you're not a hero because you're a man.
You're not good because you're a man.
Yeah,
you're just a man.
Yeah, like and I'm imagining, and obviously we didn't talk about femininity or womanhood for
We alluded enough to it.
Yeah, right. We did, and we don't
like. Oh, you mean the sort of equal and opposite ideas that people have about femininity,
right? And we don't want to even. We're not touching that tonight. It's not that it's not important. It's not that it's not as complex or anything like that. But I think we were able to speak to this better, and I think that the femininity talk would be a great discussion to have with actual women.
I was going to say we probably actually want to talk to
women,
to the feminine in order to have a femininity talk. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So, and that would be a great discussion to have on an episode in the future. Yeah, I think we have to kind of strip the idea of like what masculinity is from a lot of points, and I think we have to kind of look at it and be like, you know what? You probably know when you're a man. Like when you look back at your life and like, I was a young man. And when you stop saying I was a kid, right? And maybe that's like some sort of level of like when you think you gained agency of yourself, right? Like I was a kid, I didn't know any better. But I was a young man, and I was, it was naive, and I didn't. I mean, those are very different. One of them is like this was happening to me, and the other one was I was trying to do something, and it was failing horrifically, right? But like one of them has more agency, obviously.